of growth in demand have you seen?
Probably are talking about 10%, 20% sort of level, because glove industry is all the time running at full capacity. Although there's a great demand in the market, but the volume you can move out is not so much. So we are looking about 10, 20% sort of growth in quantity. I think that probably is maxed.
That is so far. How about going forward? We have more and more economies reopening, emerging from the lockdown. We're also seeing possibly the second wave of virus cases. Are you expecting demand to surge from here as well?
Yes, we're seeing, in fact, at the moment, the demand in the world market is big. I think quite a lot of people are looking for gloves. And I think there's a real shortage of supply. But I think from the supply side, there are certain constraints because capacity is all full. So you want to talk about building new plant, it will take time. So I think that is a situation that demand is there, but supply, I think, is an issue. And it cannot really going to push up. And what we can do is try to up a bit of production capacity. I think that's all. Okay, can you hear me?
What kind of demand from... Yes, I'm just wondering the demand from overseas. Where are you seeing the most demand? Is that an indication of the situation of the virus?
At the moment, demand are mainly coming from Europe, coming from USA, everywhere in the world, even including China. And I'm seeing that, in fact, because this pandemic, the real demand in the market probably increased by 30% to 50%. I think that is possible in the market because everybody needs gloves. I think a lot of people need gloves to protect, especially our medical frontliner people. So it really a big demand in the market. So going forward, I think still till the year, still a big demand in the market.
Mr. Lim, it's Rish in Hong Kong. It's Rish in Hong Kong, Mr. Lim. I want to get your view on your company itself. You must be making money hand over fist at the moment. How much money are you making on a net basis? What do you do with the money that you've made? Is it something that you have to save up for a rainy day? Because there certainly will be after this COVID goes away.
Honestly, you are talking about business, you're not really talking about you can make a lot of money because we have a lot of customers, a regular customer, we still have to supply to them. We cannot say that there's a shortage. We are going to increase high price. I think no. We still need to be ethical. We still need to be reasonable. So price increasing, I would say, is intended. And you cannot say, oh, overnight I increase my price by 30%, 40%. And that you wouldn't work on that basis. So it's not talking about got to make a lot of money. Probably we got better profit margin going forward. So as we are still expanding, the company has been expanding since 2002 till today. And every year we are keep expanding. That's how the company keep on growing. So this is a whole situation. We are in long term. We are doing business in a long term basis. Not something at a time jumping. No, it's not the case.
Well, absolutely, Mr. Lim. And there's the old adage, isn't it? There's the old adage, isn't there, Mr. Lim, that when the sun is shining, which it is for you, it isn't for most other people. When the sun is shining, you should try and repair the roof. And what are you doing then? How do you actually solidify Kossan Rubber Industries looking ahead?
You see, business we call it a continuous improvement and sustainability. So all the time we're working hard how to grow the company, how to sustain the business. It's all the time. It's a continuous process. It's not a case of this pandemic happened. I know it's just probably a year. How about after that? So it's a continual process that we keep improving, we keep increasing, we keep expanding, we keep doing better, and hope that company can sustain, the business can sustain going forward. So every year, in fact, we try to increase certain capacity. That's how it goes.
Mr. Lim, are you benefiting from cheap natural rubber prices?
At the moment, not natural rubber price is low. Synthetic rubber, also we are using a lot of synthetic rubber, also cheap. I would say that at this time a lot of raw material is cheap because of world demand. So definitely we are benefited from the low price of some raw material. I think that's market supply and demand is a situation. So again, it's just this time that pandemic. There's, I would call that the demand in the market for a lot of commodity is coming down. So there's an oversupply situation in the market, especially you look at the oil price, also the same thing. So there is a market forces as I look at it, how it goes. So
unfortunately,
lower raw material
the
prices,
ringgit is also looking very cheap.
Yes, at the moment 4.32 level, so up and down. So at the moment it's lower. Definitely we have some better advantage from raw material point of view, from ringgit point of view, from the so-called market demand point of view. But there are definitely also certain price expenses we need to incur during this time, especially in Malaysia. We have the MCO. We need to certain expenses increase also. So it's definitely at this time it's a better time for us. But when you look at business, we are not looking at this time. Looking for long term. I think that's important.
Well, that's the point, Mr. Lin, I've been trying to get out of you, you know, solidifying your future. Tell me about new markets. Has this unfortunate and horrible disease created new places that you hadn't done business before?
Our business, in fact, our product, I think we are supplying to nearly 160 countries in the world. So all the time is everywhere in the world. So definitely glove consumption are definitely more in the developed country like USA, Europe, and probably Japan, all the developed country using more. China also lately using a bit more. And developing country or third world country using less, but I would say that the bulk will going to more developed countries, which are more concerned with the so-called health and protection sort of things. So it's normal. I would say that all the time is everywhere in the world. Our business is supplied to so many countries in the world, and Malaysia at the moment is the biggest supplier in the world. I think Malaysia supplies 60 to 65% of the medical glove in the world. So it's a continuous sort of business.
Mr. Lim, just a final one from me, and that is, what about sustainability and improvement in your products here to make them more biodiverse?
So that's why I mentioned business is not just depend on this sort of special situation to have more demand and make more money. Business, you are talking about long term. And we have to keep on putting effort, how to build a company, how to keep on improving all our things to make ourselves more competitive in the market, to create more things for the market. So moving forward, it's still a continuous process. I think we have to work harder and harder. I think that's the key. We have to keep on working. So, but we emphasize a lot on technology. We believe in technology, how to use technology to create more value for the customer and for ourselves. And most important thing is value creation. I think in this world, we are talking about sharing. We can create value. It's good for my customer and good for us. That's how we can make ourselves able to be competitive in the market, and how the company can sustain and keep on growing over the number of years. Our company has been in the market for the last 40 years. It's a long time. I started a business back in 1980 till today, so still growing, and still have a strong fighting spirit to grow the company. That's how it goes.
It's still growing, but as you look ahead, Mr. Lim, would you be tapping technology to make biodegradable gloves, for instance, to stay green, to be sustainable?
You see, as a so-called responsible manufacturer in the market, I think to protect the environment is one of our responsibility. So a lot of things we are looking at, we are looking to green, not just talking about raw material or the product after that to be biodegradable or whatever component we are using, energy we are using, we emphasize on green to protect the government. I think that is our duty. So as far as glove is concerned, natural rubber by itself, I think is biodegradable. And synthetic, I think everybody is working hard how to make it biodegradable going forward. So this is how the process, I think, is going to continue.